Tip number 4 is to regularly, not more than once a year, request a credit limit increase with the intent of increasing your total credit limit and thereby lowering your credit utilization rate, boosting your total credit score. Caveats to this tip is first you need to figure out does your specific lender, when you request a credit limit increase, do they do a hard credit pull or a soft credit pull? Hard credit pull is something you don't want because it's going to be counted as a new credit application on your credit report, which is going to ding you a few points when it comes to your credit score. A soft credit pull, on the other hand, has no negative ramifications whatsoever for your credit score, so don't feel any need. If you know it's going to be a soft credit pull, there's no fear for you to request it because it's not going to impact you negatively in basically any way. Now, depending on where you hold your card, they might automatically actually raise your credit limit for you based on a solid payment history. But even if they don't, this is a relatively simple tip to implement. You can just set yourself a reminder on your calendar, and then every time that calendar reminder comes up, about once a year, go in. Probably you can even do it just in your app itself without actually talking to a person. And there should be an option to be able to request a credit limit increase. They'll review your previous transactions, and more likely than not, if you have a solid payment history and you don't have a rotating balance, they're probably going to approve that credit limit increase for you. Now, another note on this one is you are very likely actually going to get a much higher total credit limit increase if you actually just apply for a new source of credit, like a new credit card. Now, the positives for this one is it's probably going to give you a whole lot more in terms of total credit limit increase when you look at your entire credit limit as a total. But the drawback for this one is that it is going to count as a hard credit pull and as a ding, and it's going to give you a new source of credit on your application. But this is really going to only have a very minor impact on your total credit score. And after 2 years at a maximum, it's no longer going to have any sort of negative impact on your credit score at all. Tip 5 is a really straightforward one. Don't close your old accounts. The longer your total credit history, the better for your credit score. Now, this isn't a hard and fast rule that I hold by because there are definitely situations where it makes sense to close old credit cards, specifically if they have an annual fee and you don't use that card anymore. You're probably better off to close that card so you're not paying the annual fee, because the benefits when it comes to your credit score of paying that annual fee is probably not going to be worth it. But if you have an old credit card that you don't really use anymore, say it was your first one you got back in college and it doesn't have an annual fee, it doesn't hurt you at all just to keep it open. Throw a couple charges on there every year or so that way it doesn't get closed for inactivity. But just by keeping that open, all you're doing is helping yourself out by having a longer and longer credit history. And then the final tip to quickly boost your credit score is to use a service like Experian Boost. While most credit companies and credit repair companies can't actually do anything to help you raise your score, since Experian is one of the 3 major credit bureaus, they actually can. Now, basically how Experian Boost works is they take things that aren't traditionally reported on your credit report, like on-time utility payments or even rent payments, and they treat those as a source of payment history, which is not only going to increase your total length of credit history, but it's also going to increase your on-time payments, which can potentially boost your credit score. Plus, it's all completely free to use. But before you make a decision whether to use it or to not use it, you're going to want to check out my full review of Experian Boost right there. Thanks for watching, and from your first penny to your first million, we're here to help.